Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 15, Week 2. It's our final game for this week. The game that I said I was going to do next like 3 times over various recordings, and I'm finally doing it. Got MS-322 taking on the Outlaw Destroyers, making their first appearance here this season for us. And speaking of making their first appearance, we've got here with us the Pause 1 of Princess Gang, inexplicable Pause 1, I thought you were going to be the 4 this season. And the winner of the second Magician tournament, we got Moon River.
Remaining.
How's it going, Moon?
Poggers. Hello. I wish I was playing 4. That would have been nice.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Princess 1, Holly 3, U4, because I know Holly was talking about he wanted to do offlane this season.
Yeah, I think he changed his mind last minute.
Sad.
Yeah,
MS-322 starting out with a Tusk ban. Not actually a big surprise, seeing a lot of good Tusk play. And recently,
Radiant
we,
team
Adam's hero pool, I think, that he's been playing recently, that he's been playing in LD2L in particular, and scrims and whatnot, is kind of vulnerable to it, so no big surprises anywhere in this ban lineup.
I think it's pretty comfort for Iceman too. He's been spamming it a lot recently.
Treant Protector, first pick for OD. Not too surprising there. I feel like if Lena is banned out, that's probably going to be your first pick.
10 seconds remaining.
Feel like rarely is there a
5
game where
seconds
Treant
remaining.
Protector isn't good. He's just kind of one of those. He's a very binary hero. It's like if Treant's numbers are good enough to be relevant, then he's really good. Rubik coming up next.
No surprise here.
Yeah.
The only thing that surprises me this draft so far is the Snapfire ban.
Yeah, there's
Is that just the Peach's respect ban or something?
Roxy Roro is on this team, so
10
Roxy,
seconds
I see.
remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think if you're gonna ban Roxy heroes, I would have banned the Rubik. He's much more comfortable on it.
I actually feel like in
Also-
LD2L in particular, we've seen a lot of really awesome Roxy Roro play with these Snapfire, so if you want to get rid of it, and especially if it's a part of your strategy, because Snapfire is a hero that's going to mess with a lot of strategies, right? Like, what are you going to do if you got, like, a Chronosphere and then artillery starts raining on your head early on? Like, you're just screwed. You're just done,
That's
right?
true.
So from a
10 seconds
strategic
remaining.
perspective, I certainly can get that. Jakiro coming up next.
5
It's going to be our
seconds
support line
remaining.
here for 322. Rubik, Jakiro, just 2 supports that I feel like are going to be at least okay in every situation. You're probably rarely going to see Jakiro excel, especially in LD2L, but you're very rarely going to see a Jakiro just completely spiral out either, I feel like.
I agree. It's just a staple in this league, I think.
Night Stalker.
You got the Night Stalker here. I actually don't know how much I like the Night Stalker pick so far.
Radiant team
I
back.
feel like with the Jakiro and the Rubik here, that's actually 2 supports where they're going to be positioning themselves in such a way that you're kind of unlikely to get the big giant silence on everybody type scenario that I think you kind of want to get with Night Stalker.
I think
10
it's fine.
seconds
It's a comfort hero for Vex, and it's also against 2 squishy heroes.
5 seconds remaining.
True, this
Even if
squishy.
you-
The only
yeah.
problem is going to be like, Night Stalker comes out of the trees and just walks onto an ice path in a half a second, and then he just gets lifted and put somewhere stupid. Like, what now? You know what I mean?
I think it's surprisingly hard to hit Night Stalker with Ice
Team
Path.
bad.
The cast time is pretty significant, and he has like insane move speed at night.
The hitting isn't even a necessary part of this equation. It's just about area denial. Something
That's
Night
true,
Stalker
yeah.
doesn't like. He likes having full ability to just enter, do whatever he wants. Though, with the Treant Protector there, his ability to do that does improve. And of course, that all goes away when you get BKB. So, if he gets BKB first, it's probably fine. A lot of pause ones being knocked
10
out here. Outlaw
seconds
Destroyers
remaining.
actually trying to punish
Targeting
PvC.
PvC. Yeah.
Radiant
Very
team
sad.
I'm surprised. I think I'd be banning Adam's heroes instead of PvC, just because I think Adam has like a small pool of heroes that he'll just like own on no matter what. And
Yeah,
I'd rather
he's-
get rid of this.
There's a lot of mids this season that feel like they're in that exact same boat. Just
Yeah.
10
pretty limited
seconds
pool, but they
remaining.
do really well on what they got. You got like Adam, you got Reedy, you got
5
Jopa,
seconds remaining.
who are almost interchangeable. You could just put those three together and just make them the composite average LD2L mid player.
Radiant team pick.
Void Spirit.
Yep,
Interesting.
targeting the Iceman lineup there.
Yeah.
They don't want another big stupid silent stab to deal with on that team.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
PVC's kind of low on options now for carries that can contest the lane against this Night Stalker.
That's the bad news. The good news is that, at the very least, the Night Stalker is going to be okay once like the mid game starts. Early game, he's going to have a little trouble dealing with the Jakiri. He's probably going to be having to mostly rely on just dropping Void. That's about it.
I like this pick actually.
Got the Kentaur.
It's good for disengage against the Night Stalker. The only problem is the Treant ult can fuck you over.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, hypothetically, it's just a matter of positioning and timing on that. So far, they really actually have a team where it's going to be kind of tough for Treant to get multiple people in his ult. Because, Jakiro's going to position far from a fight. Rubik is going to stand in an opposition, like in the Blink Dagger line, basically. Centaur Warrunner is going to be right in your grill. You hit R, and at most you get 2 of the 3 on a good day so far. Though, that definitely can change with more heroes coming into the lineup, and you can't be too conscious about picking around it, because, how many heroes are going to stay outside of that line? How many heroes can you put into that formation that, PVC is going to play, that Adam's going to play? Not all that many. One big thing about the Centaur Warrunner is that it's somebody who's really hard for the Night Stalker to just 1v1 and kill. You can silence him, sure, but you can't get rid of that passive very easily.
I think he just kind of ignores him the entire fight.
And Night Stalker having to ignore somebody on the enemy team isn't exactly what you want to have happen, especially when Centaur is the guy who's best equipped to deal with him.
I wonder where KD picks here. I think he kind of needs to win his lane, because if the Centaur gets big, it's kind of scary.
We got a Clockwork coming up. We've seen a lot of good Clockwork play recently. Let's see if this is another one.
I like it. Good pickup.
Yeah, that's something that really actually screws with the Centaur a lot. It doesn't matter how fast you're running. You can't, run out of the gear jail.
10 seconds remaining.
It's also good against both Rubik and Jakira.
Rubik and Jakiro are both basically invariably going to build supports, so they do have something there, but it's not what they want to do.
Shadow Fiend. Interesting.
Just because they do have the ability to just force staff out of gear jail every time that happens to them, doesn't mean they want to lose half their health and position themselves somewhere weird. And I got the Shadow Fiend up. I don't know if that's going to be 1 or 2. Do people still do the Shadow Fiend 1 thing? I've certainly seen it at the LD2 level.
Some people do it if it's comfort for them. I'm not sure if KD actually plays the hero though.
Oh, remains to be seen. Shadow Fiend's definitely going to have to get relatively big, relatively fast, or just accept that he's going to absolutely need to get a Silver Edge this game, because the worst possible situation in this game is Shadow Fiend gets a massive critical hit on Centaur Warrunner and just takes off 50% of his own health. But you pick up that Silver Edge, it's not a big deal. Still a big tanky dude who can stun you and you don't want to auto-attack. It's kind of a bunch of things that Shadow Fiend doesn't want to see. It's going to be very much hoping that Healy's doesn't build any kind of magic resist items. Even just a hood. And he gets really, really insidiously difficult to kill. Imba Spirit is here.
That's an interesting pick. I think it's scary if you pick Ember into Shadow Fiend and the Shadow Fiend is mid. You kind of just lose the lane, I think.
Yeah, this is a very conditional pick. I like it and I don't like it. I
Yeah.
really like the Ember Spirit against the Shadow Fiend after lane phase, but I don't like it in lane phase. I really like the Ember Spirit's ability to, get away from
Player team
Clockwork,
ban.
right? Get out of gear jail, not have to worry about that. But on the other hand, the absolute nightmare scenario, and Iceman can attest to this because I always say the enduring image of season 12 for like Iceman season 12 for me was how his morale got so bad.
10
You were
seconds
you were seeing a
remaining.
game where he was just running away from Night Stalker while his
Radiant
own
team
BKB was
ban.
going as Ember Spirit.
Dire team.
And you can easily see why if you play the matchup. It is not really good for him. If Night Stalker closes with you, you're basically just gonna die. You can't really credibly kill him. He can beat your ass, and you can't get away from him. So they cannot let the Night Stalker close.
A really hard matchup.
And the
10
Treant,
seconds
too.
remaining.
Treant also really screws with you here. Both through
5
Living Armor and through
seconds
the ult.
remaining.
Really a little confused. I understand it. They're really just thinking mostly about the Shadow Fiend, trying to get rid of him. And he kind of ignores Clockwork in a lot of ways, unless he gets hit by the hook. And even if he does, he still does have some options.
Radiant team.
But outside of that, it's just a little rough. We got a Dawnbreaker here.
Dawnbreaker.
That going to be the mid Dawnbreaker? Are we busting that one out? Taking a page out of the US Danny and Looter playbook?
I really like this pick, actually. I think it fits their draft perfectly.
10 seconds
The
remaining.
Ember doesn't win lane, regardless of which hero goes mid, I think, between SF and
5
Dawnbreaker.
seconds
He
remaining.
also really struggles. In fact, all these heroes really kind of struggle against this lineup. Now I got a Life Stealer.
Choose your hero.
Whew. And yeah, it's a one Shadow Fiend. I think for the most part, I like the Life Stealer here.
I think it's probably his best option, I think, from what's left.
It's good against the Shadow Fiend, at least as far as being able to get around like ult and whatnot if you can predict it. It's a good thing to beat the Night Stalker if you can predict it. It's a good thing to deal with the Treant Protector if you can predict it. Well, I mean, your Q can't dodge the Treant ult, but your ult can, which is good enough for me.
I think if Dire starts snowballing, it's really hard for this Lifestealer. They just have too many ways to deal with him. He's also a low armor hero into Shadow Fiend. I think he's susceptible to just getting Clockworked and Treants and Shadow Fiend right quick.
Basically just depends on how much his team can actually be around him and how much they're able to contribute to a fight. In particular, it's like if they have to split their attention between Lifestealer and the Ember Spirit as far as taking control of a fight and taking care of it, 322 probably has the advantage if they have to look two ways. But if Ember Spirit falls off enough or is dealt with easily enough that they can just focus all their attention on Lifestealer, just kind of bypass the Centaur, which is a very realistic scenario, then they're in big trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see this Ember having a good game. He doesn't really have heroes that he can kill or like commit on.
And worse for him, and this is kind of bad for Lifestealer too. Ember Spirit, Lifestealer, and the Jakiro for that matter, they like these longer drawn-out battles, right? They like long fights, they like, Lifestealer has that magic immunity, which on the surface makes you think, oh, that's just a guy, he runs in, hits Q, hits you 3 times, that's it. No, the reality is, Lifestealer likes to sustain on your big tanky heroes. Lifestealer wants to run up to your Night Stalker and beat him up and get a bunch of HP back and just keep the fight going, right? But when you have the Dawnbreaker with that ult, that makes it really tough to just sustain an offensive. Like, Dawnbreaker, one of the better heroes to just mess with you if you like long fights. The fight reset you get on Solar Guardian can be ridiculous. And of course, another guy who really screws you over in long fights is your Treant Clockj. Another guy who screws you over in your longer fights is, of course, the Treant Protector, who's got that leech feed, who's got that living armor, and you don't really think about that in a short fight, because, they're both very much, like, slow overtime type skills, right? But if you're, like, Centaur War Runner,
30
and your
seconds to
BKB's
battle.
down, and you're trying to commit to a long fight, well, the other guy's getting living armor, he's getting even better regen than you, which is saying a lot. The other guy is just sapping your HP through the Leech Seed. You've got the ult to play with as well. It's a lot of nasty stuff. It's rare to see a team lineup like Outlaw Destroyers has, where they punish you expressly for long fights rather than just being good in them or
The battle
good at stopping them
begins.
from happening. But no, 322 has long fight guys, and OD has a lot of guys that punish long fights, which kind of puts 322 on the back foot immediately. Lanes are definitely going to be important here. They can get over that fact if they can just have short fights by just stomping in lane, but if they don't get that, then they might be in a bit of trouble.
I do think it's hard for them to win these lanes. They're kind of in almost every lane.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
I mean, the good news is that Lifestealers should be fine until, like, first night, basically, at least. No, Night Stalker, not an award-winning lane hero, for the most part. You get a few power spikes, and you gotta make a good advantage of them, and that's basically your lot. Vex knows how to do that. He knows how to take advantage of the power spikes, but he's still playing in a finite field.
I think the big thing here in this matchup is the Night Stalker having 20 base damage on the Lifestealer. If he wins the CS battle in the first 5 minutes, it's really dangerous.
PvC almost playing this more like a pause 3, just trying to beat up the Night Stalker rather than trying to contest quite so much. With that being said, I believe it's a good time now for the roll call, everyone's favorite part of the cast. Since these are your boys, why don't you call the MS-322 lineup?
Do I know them? I don't know.
I think so. I think you might have.
I have no idea who any of them are.
Me neither. But you do it anyway, just for funsies.
Right, we have Pause 1, pvcpipe on the Lifestealer. Pause 2,
Also the
Ari,
captain.
also known as Adam on the
Also
Ember
known
Spirit.
as Ad Forum.
Ad Forum, true. Pause 3, we have Raiden Healy's Escaping Feelies on the Centaur. Pause 4, we have Roxy Tota, also known as Toxy Tota, on the Rubik. And pause 5, we have Peaches, my favorite support, on the Jakira.
No, it's Peaches. Come on now, can't you read?
No, it's actually Peaches. Like a pie.
It's not what the AE reads as. Clearly, you're unfamiliar with your contemporary Anglo-Saxon language. All right. For the Outlaw Destroyers making their big debut here. Pause 1, you've got Kid Dynamite on the Shadow Fiend, securing those range creeps while Beta gets the snot kicked out of him. Shadow Fiend on the Kid Dynamite, as I just said, definitely legibly. Iceman on the Dawnbreaker here, pause 2. Pause 3, you've got Vex, who is partaking in some Morbin time, partaking in some low health getting beat up time right now, actually.
Oh, nice cogs.
On the Night Stalker. Pause 4, you've got whoever this guy is on the Clockwork. I think this is their stand-in, because this is where
That
he
is
usually
Doughboy, I
pauses.
believe, yeah.
It's Doughboy. I don't know who Doughboy is. And pause 5, you've got Beta Bits, who I believe is their new full-time pause 5 on the Tram Protector.
Middle lane is currently getting destroyed. It's unsettling. The disparity in CS.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terribly surprising, the matchup here, as you said, just really not that favorable for Ember Spirit, who can't really harass, who is getting
Radiant's
out
courier has
damaged,
been
not by
killed.
much to be fair, but by some. It really just doesn't have a good answer to just getting constantly harassed with the skills. Like even the Flame Guard just isn't soaking up that much. It's a bit unfortunate. You know these things happen. At least as he gets some levels, more Sleight of Fist and more points of Sleight of Fist and Flame Guard will let him at least get some hits from behind. But yeah, so far it's just linearly an advantage of the Outlaw Destroyers here. All the cores leading all the enemy cores.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job keeping Vex pretty low here, so at the very least they have an opportunity to start turning this around in the safe lane. In particular, they're really messing with Vex's supply line, like every time that, or at least in that specific instance, Vex has been hitting his items, they've been knocked off immediately, or in the case of things that you can't knock off immediately, you've just had the slow and steady burn of the regen, so it just puts him back at like the half health he's been spending most of this lane at. As a result, Centaur is actually able to start picking up some momentum here, has now passed up his friend in the off lane. You think Heelys and Vex get along?
I think they're too similar to get along. They're basically the same person.
That, you might have some angry DMs after saying that.
Who do you think Heelys is gonna message him?
I think Vex might message you first.
No, I think Vex would agree with me.
I think Vex would say I would never dive T4s, forget to hit Slark ult.
That's true. We don't talk about that game. It's forgotten, lost in the time.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure they play the clip of that every week on BBC.
Yeah. Yeah. Holly has that ready every week.
He probably just played that clip right now, despite the fact he's not even live. Just pulled it up out of instinct.
PvC CS is pretty low here. Surprising considering I think he had some chances to catch up in CS when they were building the Night Stalker.
Like I said, so far he's been playing this lane very much like a pause 3 mentality here, and that when he's had choices between just getting free damage, putting up the attrition war with Night Stalker, and getting CS, he's chosen the attrition war. Which you kind of need to do to some degree. I see why he's doing it. This is not where I expected First Blood to be. Let's check out what happens here.
Interesting.
Yeah, Treant just goes 100 to 0 here.
Oh, he just gets caught in the Centaur stun. You see? Nice catch.
Given Heelys' general lack of non-E, I'm gonna guess that likely Treant just trying to get a few too much free harass on him and just knocked off a lot of his own HP. Okay, this isn't where I expected Second Blood to be. PvC, what you doing up here, homie? Getting caught in gear jail and almost killing Clockwork and dying.
The fairy fire. It's so sad.
Yep. I don't actually know if Clockwork dies even without the fairy fire use. It certainly
He doesn't.
prevented
I'm
it.
pretty sure he lives. Yeah, it's a pretty random place for PvC to be at nighttime.
I really gotta question the wisdom of trying to take on the... Even if you're Lifestealer, you're a pretty nasty laner as far as the pause 1 lineup goes. I do gotta question the wisdom a little bit of trying to take on the Night Stalker at night with only 1 level of your Q. Like, it's just kinda asking for it to a degree. I
don't think he has the items for it. He kind of just can't man fight at this point. He uses something else. Full phase boots maybe, or like part of his armlet.
I do think you can kind of fight this generally. Like, you know, Lifestealer gets so much ability to just do damage just from skills alone. He just needs levels, and he's equivalent right now. So I think it's less a question of items and more a question of the timing he decides to go out there.
I think this Night Stalker hits too hard at nighttime, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't do it at night, right? Like,
yeah.
You wait for the day. I think if you try to man fight the Night Stalker and the Clockwork at day, at this point you could probably just win that exchange. Well, it's getting a little less likely as time goes on, and Lifestealer's not getting last hits, but not even really an XP range. Patience, use your E, it's free. some SV action going on.
There we
Somebody
go.
really should rotate for this. This is some easy kills, potentially. So they don't
Fuck
even
that,
need
actually.
to. PvC man fighting this was a bad idea.
Oh, Dawnbreaker's here. I think December might be dead. Oh, they're not gonna commit.
Yeah, they're just gonna retreat off of this. Don't want to stick around and risk more responses coming.
Kind of a sloppy dive, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, PvC should probably have not tried to engage on that. I think if he just, especially once the Dawnbreaker ult starts coming down, well, I don't know if he really had the reaction time at that point for that. I think he might have been just dead when she starts the ult, but
Yeah, it's
probably
a
should have
little
just
too late
sat
at that
behind
point.
tower after clock died. I think if he does that, pretty unlikely he does. He's
Healy's having a good game at least.
yeah, just contesting farm behind the T1 over here, just right in the shadow of the
Dire's top
T2.
tower is under attack.
This is an awkward place for the Shadow Fiend to be. I guess he just gets to walk back, okay.
I mean, the nice news for Shadow Fiend is that even though Centaur is leading for last, it's not by much.
Oh,
And
he's
Shadow
actually
Fiend is
he's
stopping it for
maxing
the
raise. Maxing raise on Shadow Fiend, that's interesting.
Could Dynamite doing it the old-fashioned way?
I don't think he
Dire's
has the
top
mana
tower
to
is
sustain
under
this build.
attack.
If he's going straight Dragon Lance. Might be an issue, we'll see.
Just simply get Treant to build a Ring of Aquila. Or not a Ring of Aquila, a Ring of Basilius. Can't build Ring of Aquila anymore. Spoilers.
Poor man shield. The good old days.
Yeah, there you go. Just build Poor Man's Shield on the Shadow Fiend. That would have been a really good idea.
A slight improvement.
It's definitely the first item they just took out of the game because they were tired of like non-agi heroes buying it, right? They were like, you're doing this wrong, so we're getting rid of it. PvC. PvC in a little danger here. Is a good going to the creep.
Oh, nice ult.
Ooh.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Clockwork gets the flare off, they know where he's at, but they can't really do much more than that. Very unfortunate for Peaches, who I believe just hit 6 while that was going on. If they were able to get that Macropire off right when they TP'd in, there's a lot of dead people. Healy's will now be the one who dies instead.
You see how
Very unfortunate. Good rotation, I think, by the Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, just goes immediately to top right after the gank. A bot doesn't pan out, just no dead aid there.
It's a move most people wouldn't expect, I think.
Dire's
And
middle tower
that
is
was
under
the
attack.
top net worth on the entire Radiant, so. Playing it very aggressively, like you probably should if you're a 2 Dawnbreaker. If you're going to be going a pick like that, you do not want to be leaving dead air. You do not want to
Radiant's
be,
middle tower is under attack.
you know, letting any advantage go untaken. Got to take some risks. That wasn't much of a risk, but you know.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Ember Spirit has rotated top to assist in the destruction of this tower. I gotta
Did he
be
click
honest,
on
I
Ember?
don't really know exactly why he in particular is doing this. I figure maybe better option at this point. Just
They were looking for the
Dire's
Shadow
top
Fiend,
tower
but he
has fallen.
sniffed out the move, left
Yeah.
in time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, I think they have to accomplish something in the next 2 minutes, or the next nighttime is gonna look scary.
let's check out what Vex has got. At the very least, Vex has had a rather contested lane. He's 1-0-1, but he's also the lowest net worth core in his team. Is not actually considerably doing better than the enemy lineup. Okay. Void a creep.
Dire's top
Something
tower
funny
is
about
under
that?
attack.
It's too fast.
Yep.
Lifestealer things.
And while that happened, by the way, Treon Protector decided to poke his head out at top and see what was going on there. It turned out nothing good. Nothing good for him, at the very least. So, Healy's back on top with the net worth. It's a bit unfortunate how this is kind of turning out. Healy's on top with the net worth on the Centaur Warrunner, a hero that I just don't know if that fact means that much for him. Not on the top 10% of scaling pause 3s, that much is certain.
I think he needs another hero to play off to like really show his net worth, but it's kind of hard this game.
Yeah.
It's not the best Centaur game.
It's a shame that the Brew was banned out, because this would have been an awesome Brew game for him. Healy's just gonna get eliminated now.
Oh, he is in the middle of nowhere.
Donate some money to the Iceman Retirement Fund.
Dawnbreaker opting to skip Desolator.
Rune of invisibility.
Paige, who's opting to skip town, doesn't quite make it before she gets eviscerated. As he kind of predicted, Night Stalker right now just kind of walking around town without anything being done to him.
This
I
is
don't know
usually
if,
when most teams fall apart in Night Stalker games. This is the second night time.
We're actually going to go out here, try to take out the Dawnbreaker. They actually might do... why did Dawnbreaker get tossed away?
Very nice.
That was a bit odd, but they do get him.
Become peace.
Treant Protector in the wrong part of town.
Nice body blocks.
Just good news there. Ember Spirit ends up picking up both of those kills, puts him ahead of the Night Stalker, and gets him back on the board after a pretty rough lane phase, really.
Yeah, I think they got a little overzealous there on the Dire. Blink reveal for the Centaur. Ended up going well.
And meanwhile, PVC just happily farming away a bot, missing last hits to the ranged creep.
Considering how the lanes went, Radiant is catching up surprisingly well, given their heroes.
This is a good Macropire.
Nice ult.
Get rid of the Clockwork, gonna block any chance for the Dawnbreaker to escape. Dynamite shows up and drops the ult and gives it to Rubik. Now Rubik is the scariest guy on Earth, and Shadow Fiend dies as a result.
He kind of just TP'd in the middle of 4 heroes.
Sin's expectation.
Just thought, I assume he is just going to TP into the middle of that drop ult and just get a billion kills. But not quite there yet, it seems. He is second place net worth right now, which ain't terribly great. They just threw a lot of money at Ember Spirit once again. The gold advantage is actually in Radiant's favor right now.
Yeah, Ember fully caught up with the Dawnbreaker now, after that tragic lane.
And Lifestealer actually has now surpassed the Night Stalker. Though if Night Stalker just gets a free kill on the Ember Spirit.
Nice ult on the Treant. Catches the Ember off guard.
Well, if Night Stalker gets a free ult on the Ember Spirit, he actually still hasn't caught up to him. Rubik unable to really do anything in that encounter. Would have been nice to see a Fey Bolt at least go out, just to make that waste a little bit more time, though. Neither here nor there. One tower going down. Healy's a little forward where he wants to be, but he's a little too tanky for them right now. So Vex and Beta Bet's just screwing up his blink dagger here. Definitely good, because if he gets to blink, then whoever blinks on is likely dead, as evidenced by this. Rubik, please. Okay, there we go.
Oh no, he might live.
No, he won't. Fey Bolt gets him at the very end. Ember Spirit has determined that your place is here. But the hasted Iceman won't listen. What's that
Radiant's bottom
Jakiro
tower is
doing? Oh,
falling.
just like messing with Shadow Fiend in the
Dire's
jungle
middle
over
tower
here.
is under attack.
Should just macro the ancient camp just to screw with them.
That'd be pretty funny.
Or just macro where you're
Good
standing.
round, yeah, that works too.
Centaur ult there just totally disengages Radiant out of what could have been a little hairy there, but it's okay in the end. Lifestealer still just happily chugging away, has not really been looked at in quite a while now.
He's going Basher second, interesting choice.
Guess he wants something to do to the Night Stalker when he's silenced. In fairness, I mean, what do you do this game, right? I don't know if there's necessarily a right or wrong answer for lifesteal at this point. Like, Deso could be pretty good, get you some better scaling against that lineup. Better damage. Basher has the utility of being able to always have something to do in a fight, even if you're getting silenced by the Night Stalker, and also gives you the ability, somewhat limited, but the ability to sometimes
Radiant's
knock
bottom tower is
the
under attack.
Dawnbreaker around when she's trying to jump away from you. Good ability to do something to clockwork in the gear jail, so I can see it. I don't think it's wrong here necessarily.
I'm not really too sure about lifesteal builds. I kind of refuse to play that hero, so.
When you're playing the funny pizza man from 1, that's what I always call him, he's a melted pepperoni pizza. She's come to life. When you're playing the pizza man from Pause 1, I think he actually kind of has the same benefit that a lot of Pause 3s do in the way that he can kind of build just whatever he wants, almost. He has a very large, broad spectrum of items that he can build, and there's very rarely many wrong answers, so whatever Lifestealer feels cool with, he can do. He is finally going to get looked at here, though. Clockwork's gonna...
Oh, hip hop misses.
Yeah.
He can get in a creep here.
Yeah, just silence on the Night Stalker, blindsided him. I think if he actually hits Q the second that Clockwork hooks the creep wave, I think he could just jump in a creep, get out. It's a bit sad. It's like I said, it's in an encounter like that, a lot of it is just going to be about predicting. And unfortunately, in that case, he didn't quite predict what was going to happen.
Nice
No.
dodge.
And the Treant by here could be trouble. Trying very hard to get the Ember Spirit out, but they do not succeed. Literally, the moment night ends, he falls.
The Remnant was just off the edge of the cliff. That's very unfortunate.
Lifestealer does walk away from his farming antics with a Skull Basher, and he is rising up the rankings, though notably he is not doing anything like the rising that Kid Dynamite's doing right now, who is currently at the top of the net worth chart and really does not look like the only person who might displace him is Dawnbreaker, who's just getting a million kills on high value targets. So
I would like to see a Deso come out from him. I think his team is going to run into some damage issues.
from the Dawnbreaker?
On the Lifestealer.
Oh yeah, I think either one of them could definitely use one. He's going for the BKB instead to try and give him emergency exit for the Night Stalker silence, which I mean you can do, but I feel like, especially with the Treant ult in the gear jail, is a little much to stomach. Another good retreat there.
Daytime silence.
Even without the daytime silence, I would find it pretty hard to get anything done in that gear jail with Jakiro just covering it up in the ice path.
Radiant's bottom
Radiant
tower
definitely
is
doing a
under
good
attack.
job being a bit flighty
Radiant structures
when the
are
enemy
fortified.
has the advantage. Feels like a lot of times when Night Stalker would hypothetically have a really good go, they just turn it around with, you know, suddenly here's a telekinesis, suddenly here's the ice path, suddenly here's a Centaur ult.
Radiant's bottom
Suddenly
tower
Kid
is under
Dynamite
attack.
is gonna... Oh, okay, he's just doing this so he can reveal BKB.
Dire's top tower is under
Oh,
attack.
hook
Here.
just off the mark.
Yeah, swing and a miss on both of the hook shot and the
Radiant are scanning.
the blink there from the Centaur. That was a bit of an unfortunate use for the 9-second BKB. It always kind of sucks to use it when
I
you're
think
not
he-
in danger and not getting kills.
He was maybe a little scared to fall. But the Ember was completely alone there. Popped it a little prematurely.
Your BKBs, Vex looking at it very soon. That's definitely going to have a pretty high impact, like I said. The Radiant has a lot of area denial. It can control a very large amount of territory, unless Night Stalker has BKB, at which point he can just walk right through all of it. It's a good way to go on the Jakiro here. Definitely going to help any sort of ensuing fight that follows. Dodges the Centaur Stomp, but he at least does not go through with it. Yeah, I didn't mind the Basher, but I definitely do think I would like to see a Deso here. I feel like
Radiant's bottom tower
I feel
is
like
under
the
attack.
deaths that are going to be prevented by BKB are not going to be worth the full price of it, basically, in this game. Dawnbreaker coming down to try and mess things up for this go by the Centaur Warrunner here, the Rubik. This is doing a hell of a lot of damage to the old Centaur, and BKB reveal on the Dawnbreaker is going to get the job done. And
That was a lot of
PVC just
damage.
TPs right into pain. Likely dead? It actually, no, he's going to be fine. They're
The
pulling out
Dawnbreaker
here.
misses your Q. I wonder, can you click on the SF?
Sure
I wonder what he
thing.
has. Ah, he has his shard, that's why. He was critting pretty hard in that fight.
Going for that Silver Edge next, which will take a lot of the luster out of the Centaur Warrunner in particular, but is also a very, very nasty thing for the Lifestealer. A broken Lifestealer is basically a melee creep. Having the BKB might at the very least help him around that, so funnily enough, if he has a problem with that, that BKB will help him a little bit more. Just in the ability to at least carry over the 2 magic immunity periods and just get through it.
Peach is dead.
Goodbye, Peaches.
Yes, bound.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Rock it on.
Dire's middle tower
I'm surprised the
is under
Dire isn't
attack.
looking towards Roche.
Dire's structures
I think
are
it's pretty open for
fortified.
them.
I think they remember
just
what
say-
happened when they tried to Roche, not these guys, but what happened last time a team tried to take Roche with a Ember Spirit alive and unaccounted for. Spoilers, Trash Boat stole it and killed everybody.
Players here.
A little hard to see Adam doing that from his position in this game, but it is definitely not outside the realm of possibility. I do think if they can reasonably account for where the hell Ember is, it's not a bad idea.
I don't think they care too much about the Ember. It's hard for him to commit in the pit with all the spells that they have. Treon ult and the silence. The clockwork.
True, but also that's a lot of things that are only going to matter one life, so if he does steal that Aegis, it could get disastrous very quickly. Especially considering you also have the Centaur ult, you also have the Macropyre, you also have anything Rubik gets his hands on, and the Fade Bolt, which all suck if you're in the pit.
What does Rubik steal this game? I don't know what his best spell is.
Well, he already stole this
Dire's
once.
middle tower is under attack. Radiant
Can steal the
are scanning.
Treon ult, can steal Dawnbreaker ult, can steal the Night Stalker Silence. Rubik, or not Rubik, Clockwork Gears. Clockwork Hook, by God. Could be really bad. There are quite a lot of interesting things for him to take out here.
We're getting pretty heavily
Radiant's
outfarmed around the
top
map
tower
here.
is under attack.
Falling.
Yeah. The Radiant is
behind.
trying to play a lot more defensively than the Outlaw Destroyers are actually kind of forcing them into. Like, Outlaw's mostly been focusing around a few specific parts of the map, but Radiant's kind of acting like they're just everywhere.
It's a nice ult. Save his BKB.
Steeler just gonna have to hit that Q, walk away. Phase boots is a passive item. There's a huge silence from the Night Stalker here, forcing the BKB on the Ember Spear, but it's so late that he has nowhere to go but away.
Oh, I thought he was gonna go for that.
I kinda did too. Said he's going to go for the Rubik here. Timing on PVC's ability there. It's actually going to put Dawnbreaker in a lot of trouble as a result.
Oh my god, the heal. That was insane.
Quells my spirit. Dire's bottom tower.
She's healed like 1500 HP there.
Yeah. The good news is PVC did get the kill on Dawnbreaker, which puts him pretty high up on the net worth chart for his team. And pretty close to where the enemies are at. I mean, at least relative to where he was earlier. Downside is they lost Ember Spirit for that, which is probably not a worthwhile trade. He really just wanted to get the kill and not lose him in there to have a real clean win. Just considering Rubik also went down and bought for that. So, but it put it further into not quite worth it territory, unfortunately. Catching out the Night Stalker here a little bit, but come on, PVC, hit Q before you go into that.
Do it with flair.
Might be in trouble here. I guess fine.
Guys, get around the Lifestealer, please. Okay. Patience Bull's 7-10 split goes right down the middle. Lifestealer and the Centaur. Ah, it's unfortunate.
Really good silence.
I think they might have been predicting that to at least some degree, especially considering I think that was coming through Ward. PVC Pipe is totally eliminated. Roxy Roro totally eliminated. Healy's just totally eliminated.
Oh
This is starting to... I think the wheels are officially off the bus now.
I think they just kind of got stood up in the fight too much. They were in like 3 different places there.
And fortunately for them, this is now the world's freest Roche for this team. Ember Spirit is accounted for. He's not here. He ain't doing anything for this. Free as free gets. Shadow Fiend takes the Aegis. But surprising, because only Iceman's actually been dying. He certainly is not going to be averse to the concept of it, I don't think. Well, that's what happens sometimes. Quickening Charm comes out here. Quickening Charm can be really nasty for some of these people. You know, you got the Clockwork, the Treant, even the Dawnbreaker. Even the Night Stalker, though, I don't think he wants it more than he wants the Titan Sliver.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
You know what I miss is the Quicksilver Amulet and being able to complain when the wrong person took it, because there's pretty much always an exact ideal every game.
I liked a lot of the older rituals that they removed.
Like the stupid, like the original version of the branch where you actually had to buy branches to put into it. That was awesome.
Wait, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, the update that the neutral items came out, like the patch where they were introduced, some of them were recipe based, like the weird Meteor Blink, the Sanj and Yasha and Kaya.
Oh yeah, the Trident one. I remember that.
And the Ironwood branch required 3 iron branches to build for some insane reason.
Holy damage.
Yep.
Silver Edge.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I think my favorite neutral that they removed is probably Prince's Knife.
I tell you what
probably good to remove.
Tell you what they really need to do is they need to add that item that I think it was like it gives you a free level or something, but it's like a consumable. It gives you like a free level or maybe even like 25 or something. I don't know. But when you eat it, you die instantly. Should bring that back. Well, I mean, I say bring it back, but it's never actually in the game, is Anya's concept.
That sounds like a League of Legends item.
Kinda does. All I want is, I want the ability to just have an item that just you kill yourself with back again. I miss the old Bloodstone. I once proposed that every hero should have their own Bloodstone suicide animation, and now that's a useless proposal because you can't do it anymore.
That's the opposite of a suicide item now.
Like, you could have Tidehunter attempt to eat himself, and he just, like, consumes himself so effectively, he just turns into, like, a little ball. Just rolls away. You could have that. Healy's playing very, very confidently.
In the middle of nowhere.
Getting tipped.
Very tip-worthy move, I'd say.
Radiant's middle tower.
That's what we call Healy's moment.
Well, at least he remembered what his buttons did. You know, he didn't die forgetting to stomp.
Radiant's middle tower has
Macropie
fallen.
here, they're really bullying poor Vex. It's the only kill they can get.
Is under attack.
Lifestealer actually does drop Dawnbreaker to top. Unfortunately, it's Dawnbreaker, so she can just go right back.
I don't know why they're backing off. They're 5v4 with an Aegis. They can just hit the tower, I think.
Yeah, it's really not a scary fight, especially Dawnbreaker just being able to jump in on it. Well, they just don't want to take it for whatever reason. Dawnbreaker got that Deso, got that Echo Saber, got that Skull Basher, really feeling like the cooler PVC pipe right now, unfortunately for him. I like how he has the Orb of Venom in his building up into a Scotty, just like the old days. Speaking of old items.
Rock it on.
Oh wow. I completely forgot about that.
I really liked the UAM concept, because they kept it around so long after it became basically obsolete. Like, when they removed the mechanic, there was like 2 left in the entire game.
Wasn't Morbid Mask or something? UAM?
Yeah, Morbid Mask, Diffusal Blade,
Vessel Leader?
Deso, all Lifesteal, Deso, the
Yeah.
Orb of Venom into Scotty. I think Maelstrom / Mjolnir, but that doesn't really count because it only proc once in a while.
Oh, those are weird days.
Loads of skills. The Anti-Mage Mana Break, for example. OD, Ball, Viper,
Oh my god.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Ember
attack.
Spirit. Gets out of there, but he's got a few new bruises to show for it. Could be bad for Mr. Treon Protector, but they have to see him. Oh no,
Oh,
bro, okay.
so bad.
Please cliff him. Okay, never mind. Not like it would work anyway.
Bash?
The Basher comes out!
We're online. I don't agree with this Scotty pickup. I think once again he's just lacking damage. He
Yeah,
has no way to fight.
the region on the
Oh,
Dawnbreaker's
nice
kind of bad, but I mean, it's kind of okay to lack damage on Lifestealer as long as you win the fight in the end. Because you have so much self-sustain. So when he is, it's fine, but the Desolator would certainly help them a lot more than it would hurt them.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And 322 just kind of won a team fight while Vex had DD.
Well, unfortunate TP.
Okay, never mind.
Transcends expectation.
I think maybe the idea of Scotty is actually not about the anti-healing here, but it does feel like this team lacks uncatch that penetrates the BKBs.
He has a Basher though. I think
He has a Basher, but as we just saw in that last fight, it's really not good enough in this lineup.
I think he just likes attacks to make effective use of it. I'd like to see an AC
Could be
or
part of
something.
it, but you're still rolling. Good macro, a bit delayed, but it's good. Yeah, that's a missed
No
opportunity now.
detection. Oh, they're all so fast, they just walk away. Bash.
Radiant's bottom barracks
Nice
Nope,
ice
Ice
path.
Path.
Pipes his moment.
And
Wasted ult too.
yep. Unfortunately, Jakiro took the monster kill streak. Yeesh. Oh no. You hate to see it. He couldn't really have prevented it, realistically,
Yeah.
but that is very sad. I can assure you PVC would have rather had 900 bucks than 200 out of that. I'm sure he's probably fine with the, especially considering he just got the Ghoul Frenzy slow, which might actually make him recalculate what he's about to be buying. I mean, actually, here's the real deal. If you want a really good slowing ability on the lifesteal, you don't need the I have Scotty, you go for the Shard, which is one of the most secretly ridiculous shards in the whole game. For some reason, he is doing this. The open wounds both gives everybody on your team always lifesteal, like spell steal and lifesteal, and okay, this isn't good.
Oh no.
He actually kind of Spidey sensed it, but it didn't end up
Yeah.
mattering at all. Did not
Yeah, they
get
just
his
have too
Q in
much
time.
match.
Not what you expected. Not what you expected.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under
Bit
attack.
sad and definitely over now. There's a little bit of comeback potential, but does not feel like if they're just going to casually lose those two on an uphill push at a 24k net worth disadvantage, there's really much hope left. Unless, of course, the Destroyers decide not to take advantage of this, which is possible. It is LD2L, but it is not what it looks like is about to happen.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Got a Satanic up on the Dawnbreaker. Jesus. Really is just the better lifestealer now.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Yeah, the Embers are just tickling at this point.
Radiant's bottom barracks.
Can you believe there was a time in this game where Helios was the #1 net worth of the whole server by like
Radiant's
1,000
bottom
gold?
barracks has fallen.
The nature of Centaur War Runner.
Yep. The nature of Helios if you want to flame. You're looking for Roche. He ain't up for another 20 seconds. If they actually just go to it now, he'll be up by the time. Probably, but
I'm,
they don't know that. Oh yeah, speaking of Assault Cuirasses, we got one on the Night Stalker here. So there you go. Somebody listened to you. Just
Yeah.
not exactly who you wanted to.
Wrong team.
Going for Deso now. And not 1 second too late.
Oof. Really nice blink.
PVC just perhaps unintentionally dodged the ult there from the Treant Protector. Just didn't matter at all. He just got completely annihilated.
I just have overbearing damage at this point.
Yep.
That looks like GG.
Is under attack.
But knowing PVC, he won't call this.
That's how you make the casters happy.
Has fallen.
Yeah, I think Dire could have probably ended this game earlier. I think this is something I noticed when we played them too. They have issues effectively closing out games, which might be a bit of an issue when they play other teams in the future.
Yeah, like a Ricky Blinders, a Sandgangers, even a left side looters are definitely not going to let you get away with that.
Yeah. Good performance though from
Left
them.
side
I like it.
lunchboxes, yep. Yeah, overall, it's certainly after a black screen for a really long time for some reason.
Oh, that
There we
happens
go.
to me too.
Yeah, after some kind of unfortunate words around the block about this team in week 1, this looked fine. This is a good middle of the line performance. This is what is unfortunately probably the whipping boy team in this season. Sorry to say, MS-322. Certainly what it's looking like so far was pretty good performance here. Some of the lifestealer play was a bit unfortunate. Like I said, if the point of the Scotty was to slow, then you probably just wanted to get the open wounds, and even if it was to break the region, Like, they didn't really have that much of it outside of the Dawnbreaker, who you're usually winning the one-on-one with anyway, right? And
Yeah.
so you could just get the open wounds there, too, I figure. Get open wounds on Lifestealer! It's ridiculously good, guys, I swear.
Definitely needed an AC at least. I think they're all physical damage on
Yeah.
Outlaw Destroyers. And he also was lacking attack speed.
An AC would definitely not hurt him much. Helmlet is a good start, but it is nothing more than a start. Honestly, Drum Boots is a big ask, but if one of your guys could get it, like, a Centaur Warrunner could probably farm that, right? You know, get that up relatively early game, even if it's not probably exactly what Healy's wants. Having something like that actually could definitely help a Lifestealer type lineup a lot, I think. Either way, we'll see what happens next time.